Hey guys, I'm at Simracing Expo 2022 and we're at the Simucube booth here because, as you probably already know by now, because it's pretty much the talk of the show, we have the new Simucube Active pedals to check out, and these are fully force feedback pedals, and probably the first completely force feedback pedals that have ever been made. There are a couple of other companies that are doing ABS, force feedback, some rumble pedals and some other solutions going on, but these are the first completely servo motor driven pedals, and they work in a really interesting way with the servo motor here, controller at the back. You've got a RJ45 network connector port that then goes to a SimLab connection hub, which they're also looking to move to in the future with their wheels, but it's just for the pedals right now. But yeah, it uses this like worm gear with this servo motor to then get you a fully active pedal that allows you to completely configure the pedals however you want. Now, when I say pedals, it's because there's not really one brake, clutch, accelerator. All the pedals can be used however you want. Like, it's totally and utterly configurable. This could be the clutch, this could be the accelerator, it could be the brake, it could be hard, it could be soft, it can be mushy, it can also react back. It does everything. It could probably make you a cup of tea in the morning if you ask it nicely. Maybe don't try that. We've also got the Simucube DDs here, but we're not going to talk about them because this is all about the active pedals. So let's get over to the Simucube pedals on this rig. Two of them, as I say, they're identical, but one is configured as an accelerator. The other is configured as a brake pedal. I've already had them pre-set up, so there's a nice springiness feel to the accelerator, so it's as if you had a spring on it. And we've also set the distance of the throw. It's entirely customizable, guys. And then the brake pedal is set up so it's around about like a 40 or so Newton meter brake pedal with somewhat semi-hard elastonomers on it. With it also then having the kickback and response for the ABS, because we're going to drive a car in iRacing that has ABS on it. So I say when the ABS kicks in, this will give you that feel of a real ABS system that you get in a real car. Okay, so let's jump into the rig here. As you say, we've got the Simucube direct drive base, and we've also got a Simucube wheel rim. Absolutely fantastic equipment. I'll be honest, I might have a little bit of bias here for Simucube as a company and as a brand. They just do an absolutely phenomenal job with quality. It's all just such good quality equipment, and their software in particular really stands out as just being very streamlined and not crashing and generally just working well. So in terms of the pedals though, which is why we're here, getting on the pedals, and immediately you can feel the spring level that we've set. Now, before I actually got in the rig and before we started filming this video, I was messing around with the software and messing around with the throw of the pedal and the resistance from it, and it's honestly absolutely hilarious when you first use it and you sat here and you set the accelerator pedal. So for example, that the travel can be like really, really small, almost like a keyboard button, or you can have it so the throw of the pedal is like just goes all the way along, and you can actually change it on the fly whilst you're driving around and the pedal's moving, and it's like that, it'll absolutely break your brain. It feels as if you've just got like weirdo hyperdynamic equipment. But as I say, we've dialed it in now, or got it dialed in so that it's acting like a fairly strong spring. Imagine if you had some like the Husingveld Ultimates and you put the strongest spring on that. I'm not sure what the travel we set it to. I was just fiddling around with it, got it to an amount that felt like the typical travel you get from a normal pedal. What we do have is a bit of an effect on the throttle pedal for engine vibration, so you can feel the pedal vibrating on your foot a little bit, which is kind of weird, and it's almost as if you've got a tactile transducer on this rig, but literally all the motion and vibrations and feeling is coming from the pedals. This rig that we're on is a really rock solid T-Slot sim rig, so there's no like vibration coming from the steering wheel into where the pedals are. We've also got a slight gear shift effect on, which I can feel on the brake pedal when I push the brake. Again, it's really weird just feeling that from the pedals. Those types of effects actually feel reasonably similar to what you get if you put tactile transducers onto your pedals like we've done with our £150 motion rig video. But I think the most exciting aspect of this and the sort of standout aspect is with the brake pedal is that ABS feeling. When you start engaging the ABS with the GT3 car, the pedal vibrates like ABS in a real car. Simucube have said that they are working with developers at this point in time to optimize how it gets the data from the games. I think it's a mixture at the moment of using games telemetry, but in some cases, in order to make sure there's no latency or that's a minimized issue, they are looking to be doing more sort of direct integration. So obviously talking directly with developers, and that way you'll get as much response as possible, and potentially the developers themselves will be able to, they'll have the data for the exact feel of the real car pedals, and then these will just be able to hook up into it and get you the result there. But obviously, the software will inevitably, in the long run, allow you to just dial things in and set effects and do whatever you want with them. At the end of the day, it's a servo motor attached to a pedal, so it just gives you such crazy freedom. And given how versatile the Simucube software is with the Simucube direct drive wheelbases, you come to, you're going to expect that kind of versatility from the pedals as well as with the wheelbase. I'd also imagine that whole sort of user profile thing will be something that people will end up using, because you might not want to set up every single car. You might want to just download a profile from someone you trust, like, I don't know, I'm sure Dan Suzuki, for example, would be someone that is probably going to set stuff up really well, so you know that's a trusted person that's going to do a decent job with it. You might have an untrusted person like Gamer Muscle, the moron, and you might go, oh, I trust him because I've got brain damage, so I'll use his settings. But you know what I mean? You could then save time if you don't want to fiddle and do that kind of thing, as you do with the wheel already. So yeah, I think really the interesting thing with these pedals is the fact that the potential that they open up by having a servo motor for the pedals. I will say, as they are right now, I do think that they could be a bit smoother. I'm not sure if the smoothness is, or the actual end feel that I'm feeling right now, how much of that's down to the actual hardware or the software or the settings from our messing around, but I think they could be a little bit more smooth. And I would also say, I think these sort of pedals are for people that are like absolutely bonkers when it comes to sim racing and force feedback. I'm not quite sure of the absolute utility for esports drivers, where a lot of it is about repetition and keeping things always the same. Like, why do you need dynamic pedals if you could just use static pedals and just keep them exactly the same and learn that and repeat that? Having said that, if you set these up, they should stay the same and they won't change. But then obviously once you've dialed them in, you're not going to change them, which you could do with pedals that already exist that are a lot cheaper. Now, before I say the price of these pedals, I did think, interestingly, an interesting point. What they could do is you could potentially completely cheat with these pedals. You could have it pick up the telemetry. For example, if you're going to lock up, the brake comes off. Or if you're going to spin the rears, you could have some kind of fake traction control, pick it up and react with the pedal. So there's some interesting stuff there, and Simucube has said they really want to be careful not to have it be used as a cheating tool. And I also thought it'd be really interesting that you could potentially use these for flight sim rudder pedals, with the pedals virtually connected, so they move together like flight sim rudder pedals would. So there's a lot of interesting potential with these, and for me personally, as a super duper hyper force feedback geek, I think they're really exciting. Now, the big question I think everyone is going to be talking about and asking about is the price. And sadly, for those of you that aren't billionaires, these pedals are going to cost upwards of £2,000. Well, it's like €199, 1,999 plus tax. So you're probably talking about 2,300 or something per pedal all in, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. That is a lot of money. I think they're probably going to get pre-orders and sell out, because there's a lot of people getting sim racing that have that money to spend. But for those of you that are sort of on the reality level of amount of wealth, that is a lot of money, and I think it's going to be a sticking point for a lot of people. Also, I think a real question, and one of my things is that I think a lot of people might just want to get one pedal, specifically the brake pedal, to get what that offers and be able to dial that in, and you know, all the advantages that you can get with just one pedal, and then use it with another pedal that you've already got. My thing with them is like, Simucube need to do a cheap accelerator pedal, or just not even cheap, but you know, something that's not 2,000. Not because there aren't other pedals that are fantastic on the market, but because a lot of people, you want to stay with the same ecosystem, so you don't have 1,000 pieces of software just to play a game. So as it is right now, I'd have the Simucube software for the wheel, for the pedals, but then I'd maybe need like a Hoosenveld software for the accelerator, or you know, whoever else's software. So those are my sort of reservations on it, but putting that to one side and putting to side the premium nature of this and the pricing, really, really exciting. And as a complete haptics force feedback nerd, I really love this sort of stuff, and I really love seeing this innovation. This has got to be, for me, possibly the most innovative, or at least different product that we've seen at Simracing Expo. So all said and done, absolutely fantastic job by Simucube. They keep pushing the boundaries, and they are totally and utterly crazy. So hopefully I covered those main points in this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, make sure you click that like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and also feel free to ask any questions for things that I missed in the comments section. But until the next one, drink lots of tea, subscribe to Lawrence Tessoa, who's been doing our camera work for these videos. What a pro! And take care, and goodbye, guys.